Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Game Junk Podcast, episode 122, recording on Sunday, October 2nd, 2022. My name is Frank.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Andrew.
And could be a shorter episode this week. We've said that many times before. It may be accurate this time, but we are going to talk Stadia news. Stadia is shutting down. It is no more. And I supported it for many years and I probably played about 10 minutes of it, but the amount of money I spent on it is ridiculous. So we'll get into Google's support and customer support in general, I think. But, anything else you guys need to talk about? Juice this thing up a bit? I mean, it's episode 122 and an eighth. 122 and an eighth. We're about an eighth away in. You know the reference, of course.
I do. I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, me too. Does Huck know the reference? 122 and an eighth.
Oh, it's very familiar. I feel like it's... I want to say Ghostbusters, but I know that's not it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I knew it was some sort of like
90s,
late 80s, early 90s.
Something New York related. Yeah, it makes sense.
Right. Oh, right. When what's the guy's name? The pizza delivery man is looking for the address, right?
Yeah,
I remember this now.
Right through the sewer.
Kano? Yes? Is his name Kano?
Used to me.
You guys don't remember it? You guys give me the eyes?
Deep TMNT trivia we've not even thought about.
Goodness. You guys were giving me the eyes when I couldn't remember his name? You don't even know his name?
I think you're amalgamating Turtles 2 and Turtles 1.
Yeah, Turtles 2, the pizza delivery guy, is an actual character, and 1 is
you're right. It's that white. It's that tall white guy. Yeah,
Turtles 1 is just a guy delivering Domino's pizza through a sewer.
You're right. I am merging the two movies.
Not a turtle head. Anyway, did you guys have anything else to talk about, or are we going straight to Stadia?
No, I think straight to Stadia.
Okay, so, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot of news about this. I got an email because even though I had canceled my subscription, finally, probably 2 months ago,
Really? So you actually did cancel?
I did eventually. Yeah, 2 months ago, I canceled.
You're a hero.
So they're probably just waiting for me to cancel.
Yeah, once you cancel, they're like, wow, we're really...
Well, there's our last subscriber gone.
I was literally the last person playing and whoever was playing Red Dead Redemption 2. And we're going to get into that too, because that's a weird scenario. But the weird thing so it's going to continue if you're a current subscriber until early January, I think. But the other somewhat strange aspect to this is they're refunding people. From what I can gather, it's really nebulous on the details of the refunds. Like, I got an email about it. I'm reading the email. It seems like I'm going to get refunded for the hardware because I purchased it from the Google store. I actually purchased mine from Google, not from Best Buy or something like that. I don't know. I don't think, or I assume I'm not going to get my subscription fees back for the 2 years.
I don't think so.
If I do, Google will become my favorite company. And if I get that like $400 or more back, maybe that would be awesome. They'll be back in my good graces. But after my Google Wi-Fi scenario and now this, I'm done with Google. I'm this close to purging and going through all of the work of switching to a new email service and getting off Gmail. I'm not quite there yet, but I want to really bad. But I guess the more relevant discussion here is this was supposed to be the future of cloud gaming. It seems like a failure. I guess to add to that, the reason why I kept paying for the premium games and the library was, I think $12 a month or something like that, was I at least figured Google would stick with it. They have enough money to continue to improve the technology, and I'm just building a library so that when the technology does catch up with the service, I've got this huge thing and maybe I can use it. So if Google's abandoning an idea like this, it's big news. So what do you guys think? Any thoughts on Google abandoning cloud gaming? And is cloud gaming still the future?
Well, before we answer that, as a baseline, have you played the Xbox cloud streaming service?
I have not, because it does not work on. Well, maybe it's finally been updated, but for the longest time, did not work on iOS devices.
Oh, it does.
It
I
does
played
through
it on
the
my
browser.
iPad the other day.
Only if you go through the browser, though, right? It doesn't work.
No,
Like, there's no app.
I use the app.
Oh, really? Did I miss?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that was working. I still use it through the browser.
Oh no, I have an app, an Xbox cloud gaming app. It's it's different than just the regular Xbox app.
Okay.
But I was just wondering how.
The iOS beta, and I never got an email.
It could be the beta still, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm curious to check it out for sure.
Because I thought the whole thing was that Apple would not allow them to do it through the app.
Because of rating content and stuff, and that's probably why Netflix delivers their games the way they do as well, potentially. Like, there's no hub within Netflix.
Let me just confirm what I'm saying.
I mean, it could be that you set it up through the browser and it looks like it's an app, because that's how it looks on mine once I had set it up. Like, it kind of looks like it's
So
an
it's
actual
basically
app.
a browser link that like a shortcut, it docks on your page.
Right.
I don't think so. It says beta, cloud gaming beta.
Okay, all right.
So it is still the beta app.
So your question was, have we tried it? I haven't.
Yeah.
Sean has played it extensively.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd say extensively, but I've definitely used it a bunch. And it is a nice to have thing. It's just not like something I would ever rely on to play through full games.
Right. I think we're in this like journey to get to cloud gaming. This is like a hybrid phase, which Xbox seems to be doing the right thing. Sorry, Huck.
I was wondering, as far as the tech goes, how the two compared. But obviously, like, Sean, did you try Stadia?
Yeah, I did sign up briefly for, like, I think Frank had a free
Maybe the
thing.
Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. And I did try it out. It worked fine. Like, I don't know that it was any better or worse than xCloud from what I remember. Although, I don't know. I must have just been playing it through Chrome. So I don't know. It's probably better if you actually install the Stadia app on an Android device. I'm assuming that would be better. And I don't think I tried that.
I mean, I've tried
the hardware,
Google Chrome on really good internet connections, and it was pretty good. It still wasn't perfect, but it's not bad. And I guess compared to I tried the PlayStation, even just streaming from your console. I maybe tried. Is it Go or Now? What do they call the PlayStation one? PlayStation Now?
remote play.
It was PS Now. Now it's just part of PlayStation Plus.
I had tried that at some point. That was much worse. So I feel like Google and Xbox, tech-wise, were better. There was also id was pushing their own proprietary cloud gaming technology. I don't know where that is these days, or if that was part. I think I speculated at one point that maybe that tech was just part of a package that Microsoft bought and their engines.
Yeah, it could be. There's also the Amazon one, which I think we mentioned like a couple weeks ago, Luna.
Yeah, Luna, which I'd never heard
It's
of.
out there. It's around. I don't know. Like, people who have Prime in the US do get free access to it, but I don't think it's available in Canada.
Has anyone tried a cloud-based Switch game? I think I've...
No.
What's the word? Anecdotally heard it's awful, but I've never actually tried it.
I wouldn't be surprised. You can't have a LAN connection, so you have to go over Wi-Fi. So, like, I guess if you have a really good 5G connection, it might be okay. But if you're going just over regular Wi-Fi, I can't see it being that
Possibly
good.
with the OLED model, which on the dock has a
does it?
port. I think so, yeah. But yeah, okay, I'm just curious because I haven't tried that either. So, I mean, I think cloud gaming, I guess, let's see, do we all agree? 40 years from now, will cloud gaming be the way people play games exclusively? Yes or no?
I'd say there's a pretty good chance.
Looking for a yes or a no, Sean.
I'll say yes.
Huck?
40 years from now, yeah, I'll say yes as well.
I would say yes as well. It might even be something else even better or faster that we can't conceive.
Yeah, just plug it right into the old back of the neck.
Yeah.
No, but I think we will get there eventually. I mean, at some point, it's not just technology, it's access to technology that you need to cover a lot of bases and how you deliver this stuff. But I think we'll get there. I was always very skeptical about how fast that would happen. People have been saying this for 20 years that we're almost there. On Live was only 20 years ago, and I don't think we're close. And it's not because the technology isn't good. When you're playing a game, it kind of needs to be perfect. Like, just think of when a game runs slow or there's bugs. Like, it destroys the immersion. It's not fun. So if there is a way to play it without those things adversely affecting your experience, I'm going to play it that way. Maybe like in a small set of examples, the convenience of playing in a remote location or in a scary shitter somewhere, you got to get your gaming fix. That might work. But other than that, there's just better ways of doing it right now. And until it's at that level, at the bare minimum, it's never going to work.
Well, I mean, games, you talk about frame rate all the time. Frame rate, like a 60 frame rate game is better than a 30 frame rate game. Well, it's the same with input lag. You know, if you have input that's a few frames delayed from what you see on screen, it's a horrible experience. And that's essentially what you're doing when you're streaming, if you're, not streaming the data fast enough. So you're kind of introducing this extra input lag on top of, everything you already have going on the computer. So I'm not really sure what the answer is and if we'll be able to solve it, in the next 10 years or 20, but maybe 40. It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, 40 seems pretty likely.
Okay, so now let's play another game. Let's bring that number down. What's a guess in years when you think the tech will actually get there?
I would say 10 years. 10 years sounds right to me.
I would say I would probably put more, like 20. I would be closer to 20. I think they'd have to go, they'd have to have fiber optic cables everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't know how fast you can lay fiber optic
issue.
Unless there is a new satellite or some kind of new. I think 25 years is what I would guess. Till it just works. It's seamless. And even then, I'm kind of doubtful. I don't seem to be as high on tech. I saw something, that people was trending with the Boston Dynamics robots or something like that recently. No, I think I saw a video. And I'm like, this is nothing. Who cares? Call me when something good happens. I appreciate these steps along the way that are necessary, but I think people have always been and will always be overzealous in their projections of tech. And I know people always point to the futurist curves, how exponential, and yeah, there's limits to that too. Those are based on different time frames of humanity and civilization. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, it definitely, it feels like for everyone everywhere to be able to play like that, that is going to be a long time for sure.
Okay, I'll rephrase it then.
But
For you in Ontario,
yeah, I think 10 years for that. I think 10 years for big cities, major populated areas, that seems likely to me. But I could be wrong. I mean, I think the thing is, where we're at right now, I think it is playable for certain kinds of games. It's just, we're talking AAA games, high fidelity graphics, multiplayer games, things like that. It's not there. And that is a big challenge. But
a casual adventure game, maybe. The only thing I could think of is I don't know if they're working on tech to actually stream the memory rather than the inputs. Do you know what I mean? If memory gets cheap enough that you could
download the whole game,
no, parts of it, and
yeah,
page it out, or develop a game in that manner. Maybe you could do that. So you're running a local version, but a smaller version that's paging in and out requests. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. This could be a completely flawed concept, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, I'm curious so Frank, as someone who was subscribing to Stadia and kind of putting aside
For no reason, literally for no reason.
Well,
for future potential, maybe. And I guess
Right.
to support the idea. I was kind of high on the idea. Like, it'd be nice. I'm not someone who's like, I never want to play games cloud. If it worked and it worked well, I would do it.
Well, so putting aside just the question of is cloud gaming feasible, blah blah blah. Like, do you personally have an explanation for why you think Stadia failed? Like, especially with Google being the big company they are with deep pockets and whatnot.
I mean, I think their pricing model. If you're trying to pull someone to a new technology, at least what Xbox is doing, you get to play them on there anyway. It's a bonus. It's giving you an option, and it might not be the best, and it doesn't seem that bad. If you're trying to pull someone into this new technology, they either needed to figure out a way to have like cheaper games or get a bunch of games for a small fee and get people invested and contributing money and doing it knowing it's a value proposition. That, okay, at least it might not be the best, but I'm paying less. I can play a new AAA game for half of the price, let's say, or something lower, and that would work. But Microsoft kind of already beat them with that as well with Game Pass. So you needed a pricing angle to make this attractive for people to try it, and then you get the money to iterate on it and make it better or whatever. And I don't think they ever had an from the initial proposal, it was like, we're just testing this out. It wasn't even ready to go out of the gate, and it's like, we'll get there. And maybe that whole approach was a bad idea, and maybe they should have started with something closer to just doing it in browsers rather than having their, like, through the Chrome and their own controller. Like, get a technology working, then add hardware and elevate it. Like, I think they just tried to. If your model is to build on it, I don't think their starting point for the build was a good idea.
Yeah, the pricing was weird. Like, I don't know that I ever fully looked at it, but like, I was just reading this week, like, people are saying that to buy a game for like a brand new AAA game, in a lot of cases, it was actually more expensive to buy the Stadia version, which seems crazy because, like, we all, as we've been saying, the experience is not on par. I mean, maybe somebody who doesn't want to put out the money for a console, maybe they'd be interested in that. But like, everyone else would be like, I'm buying it on the console. Like, if it was cheaper or if it was a subscription thing.
Well, two things too. So at that point, what you're offering to people is convenience. And it's not even that convenient because with digital games, I can still play any game and switch between them very easily. So that convenience isn't even there. It's literally the convenience of location of playing and maybe storage convenience. You don't have to store the games locally. So if that's all you're offering, it's not that much. So, like, I'm going to pay more to do that? Or even the subscription service, the games weren't that great. There was something else I was thinking about too. Like, it's kind of obviously not a great value compared to what other people are doing. So I don't know. It just seems, I can't believe, I'm sure people do because they have no alternative, but paying full price for a Switch, like, cloud game, seems absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if that's the only system people have, maybe it's worth it.
Your only option and you're desperate to play it.
But I guess the other thing is, like, there was no really big exclusive Stadia games. Like, I know they didn't they buy like some studios? Like, I feel like that was something they were kind of working on, but I don't know if anything ever came of that.
I don't know if they bought any studios, but they funded Jade Raymond's new studio.
Right, yeah, that's
and
right.
then
did that game ever
she
launch?
left it. No, it folded. I don't know what happened to it. Kind of
because there were the only other semi-exclusives I remember was it Baldur's Gate? They were pushing the new Baldur's Gate in the first. And then there was also a timed exclusive with the Darksiders. isometric version of Darksiders, but that was all I can remember.
Well, I just looked it up, and the list that I see here is there's 5 exclusive Stadia games that, as of, I mean, maybe some of them, there were more that launched early on Stadia.
Yeah.
But as of right now, there's 5 games that are currently only available on Stadia, and they are Outcasters, Guilt, Pixel Junk Raiders, Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle, and Hello Engineer.
Huge.
Yeah. I did play that Guilt game, I think. It was kind of...
And I guess that was a sub-story that came out with this, that they were offered, or Kojima pitched them, a Death Stranding follow-up exclusive to Stadia, which they turned down. I actually am probably on Google's side on that one. See, even that would not be a seller to me, especially if they knew the numbers that they had. It would still take another 3 or 4 years. So doesn't seem all that surprising to me. I'm just curious to see how they handle refunds. And then, the other story was that kind of went viral was someone who had logged, was it 6,000 hours in
something like that, yeah,
in Red Dead Redemption 2 online. I think it's online. And they want to be able to transfer their character, and they can't. Now, I have not followed up with this story, but this seemed ridiculous to me. The fact that your character and progress for an online game isn't stored in an account that can move between consoles, like a Rockstar account. The way Fortnite, you can play anywhere on any console. You log in to your Epic account, and every game is like this now. They tie some kind of account. I can't believe I know there is a such thing as a Rockstar account.
Yeah, there's lots of games that are still just get ported to different systems, and you can't, because not everybody wants to sign up for some online account with every publisher they get games from.
Like how many virtual currency, how much virtual currency you have, items you've bought, that's not in your save file. Like you can hack those things. Those are stored on their servers associated with a Rockstar account.
But it could have been a stipulation in their deal with Google that all of their player data stayed on Google, like a Google sandbox basically, and that they cannot take that data to like the Rockstar global stuff. So it's possible that, PSN, Xbox all look at the same Rockstar servers, but the Stadia stuff does not.
Yeah, I guess it is possible. It just seemed weird to me that that's not a thing, where that would have been my assumption, that you could have a Rockstar account and move it anywhere to any game. But
that is the way those things are going. I did read an article saying that you are going to be refunded for any games or add-ons you purchased and your hardware. That is the current
I think
thing.
if you were just kind of doing the subscription thing and claiming the free games every month, I don't think
so there was free games
for those.
Yeah, it was free. So I was just getting those free games, and they would argue that's a subscription service. You're paying to have access to it that month, even though you didn't use it ever.
Yes.
So I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I think I should get my money back. I'm not expecting that in any way. If I do, that would be amazing.
So you never bought any full price games?
I just claimed free games.
Oh, okay.
Free stuff. Every month I claim my free stuff. So I probably had a library of probably 100, maybe more, 200 games or something like that. So, which I never played. Although the last thing I played on there was, I think the Panzer Dragoon remake came out there first at some point.
Oh yeah,
I tried that and it was really choppy. I'm like, this sucks. But it could have been my internet connection, which could have been choppy because it was my Google Wi-Fi, which was completely broken through firmware. Many people reporting this issue, and in case you haven't heard this story, I'm like, I'm done with this thing. I want it out of my life. Everyone's telling Jay, like, your internet's shit, dude. What the hell's wrong with you? I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It just keeps going out. I thought it was my new computer, something on the motherboard. No, it was Google's Google Wi-Fi. I give it away to Sean. He reformats it, starts afresh. That wasn't the problem. I tried doing that many times, like reformatting it or factory reset. And then they sent an email because it's registered in his Google account now. Oh, we've noticed there's an issue with your particular hardware model. We'll be fixing this in the near future. 8 months, a year after I struggled with this and thought I was going crazy. So fuck you, Google. I am done. I'm going to get rid of you. I have to get rid of you from my life.
You can't now. It's impossible.
It's possible, dude. It's very possible.
Amazing customer service. Can't say enough good things about Google.
And while we're roasting Google, the worst user interfaces in the world, like the 3 dots or the lines on everything, and then within there, every menu is different. Trying to like change your settings through Chrome or your Google account is a nightmare. This company has more money than almost any company in the world, and they cannot make a consistent, understandable user interface or a cross-platform user experience. They are trash.
Well, I was going to bring this up because I feel like this is another kind of explanation for why Stadia failed to some degree, because Google is known for this, right? Like they start up all kinds of weird little projects and then they just kind of fizzle out a year or two later and they kill them.
Can you give another example of one of those? Because I'm struggling to think of one right now.
I can't think of anything, but like I think they had the Google Chat. I think that got shut down. They've had a lot of like Google software that, for whatever reason, just died out because nobody.
I would
was
definitely
using it.
or make that association with Microsoft.
What, Google Plus? That was like their social network thing that they tried to do. I think that's what it was called. There's a lot of things, but like, I don't know if could it have been an interface issue? Could maybe the UI sucked? The whole like kind of user experience sucked for Stadia. I don't.
That was actually pretty good. Like it was seamless. It worked fine. It presented the games well. The only weird thing with that was you had to go to like stadia.google.something. Like the URL was kind of weird, but if you had the right URL, that part worked pretty good, I have to say.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, I think there is just this idea that Google is such a big company. They start up all these little things, but there's no kind of overall vision. And then if something doesn't stick after like a year or two, they just kill it. They don't like look at it and say, hey, can we improve this? We'll just kill it. And,
and if it's not good, that's can work for launching technology. You just have to price it appropriately. And I don't think they did that. And especially the idea of buying games on there was never an option. Like that pricing model was ridiculous.
Yeah. But I mean, it does go to prove that, gaming is it's not easy to break into. If Google comes in and says, we're going to try and run with Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft, and you'd think they could pull it off and they can't do it, not a lot of hope for smaller companies coming in and doing something, unfortunately. But
I mean, isn't it? I know this is a cliche, like a gross gaming industry cliche, but it's all about the games. It's about the games, and if you started some new console and bought 3 of the biggest IPs, it would work. Like some new, as long as you. It's just putting a computer in a box, making it look cool, and then running those games on it. It's really just having, like we alluded to, exclusives that you're going to want that technology for. If you don't have that, if you're not pushing some amazing tech or breakthrough, that if you had actually made that technology work at a level that people are like, this is exactly like playing on a console, it might have worked, but they had to have known it wasn't there. So it was dead in the water. I should have known. I'm a moron.
You wanted to support.
That's what you get for being an early adopter.
I'm used
sucker.
To it.
First Ouya, now this.
My Ouya is still the Founders Edition Ouya is sitting in a box somewhere.
We got to do an unboxing one of these days. Ouya unboxing. Yeah.
All right, we could do that.
No, you can't tarnish that gold.
It doesn't
That's your
even
retirement
have fingerprints
fund
on it, Sean.
What?
It doesn't have fingerprints on it. That thing's going to be worth.
Yeah, that's true.
That's his retirement fund.
And like,
have you checked recently? Like,
if we're saying 40 years until cloud gaming is standard, how many years until my Ouya is worth $350.
Well, let's see. Ouya.
It's the brown one, the Founders Edition.
Okay, let me see. Founders Edition.
Brand new, complete in box.
I'm going to bet 35 years.
$10.
And that's because inflation will be so out of control that really it'll only be able to buy you like a loaf of bread.
It'll be worth less.
I don't even see any of these for sale, man. This might be worth like way more than
Maybe it's not called Founders Edition.
List it for 10 grand. See what he can do. See what happens.
I mean, I see a lot of $75 for just, I think, used, but I don't know, brand new in box. Anyway,
Wii was huge.
Riveting.
I did want to bring up one other kind of related story from the past week or so, which is, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Logitech is putting out a cloud gaming handheld system called the G Cloud Gaming Handheld, I guess. And it's kind of what I think Microsoft was always talking about. Essentially just a device that is being made to play cloud gaming with either Xbox, Google Play, GeForce Now.
So it's a controller with a screen.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this is like that. What's that thing that's being advertised now on podcasts? Backbone or Backspace or something like that? What's it called?
Well, so the Backbone is just a controller for your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But this is an actual like device with a screen and, you know, thumbsticks and everything. But like, it's just, it doesn't store anything locally. It's all just to play.
So it's literally just
gaming.
like a pass-through device for input and visuals.
Yeah, which is kind of interesting, but like it's, I think $350 US is how much this thing costs, which is kind of insane.
That's a lot.
How much? 350?
Why not just buy like an iPod Touch and buy a Backbone thing, and it'd probably be less money.
Exactly.
Okay, isn't a Steam Deck like base model in the US like $399?
No,
is it? I thought it's $5.
Thought it was
$499 in Canada.
No way.
Or is it $499?
I think it's more.
in the US?
I think it's way more. I got Steam open. I think it's more than that.
No, I think you're right. It says reserve yours starting at $399.
Yeah. So for $75 more, I could have a computer that could do both and run games.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this thing could have a market, but I think they just screwed themselves with that price tag.
Or the Switch could probably do it at some point too. If they ever allow them to put those cloud apps on the Switch or the next Switch, this thing's also dead in the water.
Yeah.
Yikes. Is there any like hook to this that we're missing that makes it?
I don't think so. And there may actually be, I think I read there's another device.
Logitech heads out there.
Yeah. I think there's another device like this from another company that's lesser known than Logitech, but I mean, there's probably going to be a few others coming along, I'm sure. But yeah, it's hard when everybody has a phone or an iPad already. I don't know how you really gotta, you have to have like a reasonable price tag and just something that makes it super convenient.
I mean, the only advantage of this would that it would probably be very light.
Yeah.
Because weren't you saying the Steam Deck is kind of beefy?
Oh
Right.
yeah, it's beefy.
Oh, I guess you both have it now. Yeah, so...
No. I have gotten an update.
Oh, right, you've ordered. Oh.
Mine is arriving tomorrow.
Oh.
It was
Exciting.
picked up from Valve on Saturday. It's currently in Mississauga.
Ooh, there you go.
At the
hub.
facility.
The hub of all things Canada Post.
Arriving tomorrow before 8 p.m. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Very cool.
You want me to drive it down for you?
And deliver. I'm sure I'm out of the house for a small window tomorrow.
Imagine
sure
if it gets stolen off your porch.
Something will happen. This cannot go well. But Sean, I assume this Logitech G Cloud is right up your alley. You got this thing pre-ordered. This is middle of the road Sean Tech.
No, I mean, again, if the price was cheaper, if I didn't have a Steam Deck and a GLAP, maybe.
The GLAP.
Maybe I would be interested. But
Are you regretting the GLAP and wish you had held out for the Backbone?
I don't know. I haven't tried the Backbone. I'm kind of curious. I still use the GLAP from time to time. I kind of like it still. But
what was the other weird? Did that thing ship yet? The yellow with the crank?
Oh, the Playdate?
Yeah, is that actually shipped yet?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Like, I don't think it's available in stores, but I think people who pre-ordered it says it was released April 18th. Yeah, I wonder if you can just buy one.
I looked into it then, though, and I remember getting the sense that they were out for reviewers, but still not for the public.
Oh, yeah, it says estimated ship date early 2023. Well, maybe that's just if you order now, though. I don't know.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, maybe. But my COVID brain is getting better. I'm remembering.
So I'm looking at the stats for the G Cloud. What's it called? G Cloud.
Yeah.
And it does have 64 gigs of internal memory, which is the same as the Steam Deck. But I don't know why you would need that much. If you're just running like a super, super basic OS that is literally just like, give me the data, set up my Wi-Fi. Basically, you'd probably just need to set up my Wi-Fi and then display. You need render stuff and then control input and to send up. Like, there shouldn't be too much needed if you were writing a thing. And 64 gigs is tons unless you need it to install local stuff.
It says you can play Android mobile games. So
okay.
I guess maybe that's.
But I mean, like a 64 gig USB is like $30 now.
That might be like the minimum card you can get now. Yeah. Actually, true.
It probably just makes sense. That's probably actually nothing.
Yeah, but it does not have the weight.
Logarithmic technology, memory is ridiculous. How cheap.
Yes.
And how small memory gets.
I was digging through like some old memory cards, and it was like I had like a 1 gig card, and that was like a big deal. Like,
I feel like those are the things that like are gonna. That's what's gonna like just change technology and how we develop games. Like you'll have so much RAM, you can do whatever you want. Like it's kind of like how screens are getting too good for human perception or our eyes to keep up with them. Then there'll just be a point where you can have everything loaded. It doesn't even matter. Who cares?
Yeah.
Memory's going to be so small and so cheap. But who knows? Who knows what will happen there? All right, are we done juicing these middle of the road piece of shit technology platforms? Can we get into some real games?
Hang on, I got one more thing. Logitech G Cloud, 463 grams.
I thought you said grand.
Grand. No. And I don't know what's the ounce. Of course, the Steam Deck is in ounces, so I have to do a conversion here.
Be careful.
Okay, so it's 16 ounces, and the Steam Deck is 24 ounces, so it's quite a bit heavier, the Steam Deck, than the G Cloud.
Well, so I'll weigh in on if it's too heavy or not, or just
yes, you should.
Just right. Cannot wait for tomorrow.
So
what game should I play first on it?
Well, I was going to say, what's the first thing you're going to hack?
I'm not. I will not hack it at all. I will only run Steam on it. That's it.
So boring.
It's the best. I'm going to install Horizon Zero Dawn, Hades, Moonscars, and that's it to start. Then I'll start installing like 100 other games, but those are the first ones.
Okay. Those are the ones that will get priority download.
Yeah. All right, we done with this bullshit? Can we get into what we played?
Definitely.
Who would like to go? Sean, you said you played a bunch.
I actually remember some stuff that ties into this thing. But
okay. Go for it, Huck.
I played Critter Crunch streaming from a PS3 cloud device, and it was an amazing experience. I love that game. I forgot how good that game is. Anyways,
right?
yeah, Capybara Games. I played it for like 2 hours at like 2 a.m. after hockey on Thursday, and I was like, this game's great. I don't want to go to bed, but then it was like 2:30 in the morning, and I was like, I really need to wake up tomorrow sometime. So, anyways, Critter Crunch and game streaming worked fine.
So
there is a game that works.
The art for Critter Crunch was so good. I'm looking it up. It's 10 years old. It was actually the 10th anniversary of Critter Crunch a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure everyone knows this.
Common knowledge.
I was at Critter Crunch Con.
There should be one.
So wait, so you played it on like PlayStation Plus streaming, or
Yeah.
as a PS3 game?
Yes, because all the PS3 games are streamed through whatever they're calling On Live or whatever it is that they bought.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've tried
Worked
any
fine.
of the older games yet on PS Plus.
So I think you can install everything except PS3 games.
Right.
It's just the PS3 games you have to stream.
Okay. Well, so I have... Okay, I'll start with a demo that I played. Don't usually plug demos. This one is a game that it's coming out next year, but I got to plug it because I was loving it, which is Turbo Kid, based on the movie.
This guy's been pushing Turbo Kid for years. Everything to do with it.
Which is, kind of a throwback 80s kind of action genre movie, sci-fi thing. And it's a Canadian film. I don't know if I'm assuming the game is developed in Canada as well, but I don't know. But it's basically a Metroidvania, but the idea is you can summon your BMX bike whenever you need it. And so there's sections where you're moving along and all of a sudden there's like big jumps and ramps and stuff like that. So you can summon your bike, and then sometimes you have to go up and down on half pipes to reach things and stuff. And it was kind of reminding me of like a Metroid game mixed with Trials of the Blood Dragon, which, I know a lot of people didn't like. I was a big fan of that game.
Isn't it like, I don't know how much you use the bike, if it's just like a locomotion, or the BMX, a locomotion thing, but there's like ramps and half pipes. It almost has a bit of actual Trials HD.
Yeah, well, that's Trials of the Blood Dragon, exactly. Like, it feels like one of those games, but it does have for instance, one of the power-ups you get is like the bike can stick to walls. So it's kind of like the Metroid spider ball thing.
I forgot there was a game called Trials of the Blood Dragon. I was just thinking of like the vibe of the original Blood Dragon.
Right. Yeah. No, it is Trials. Sorry. So yeah, I thought it was a really interesting combination, and I liked just kind of the retro pixel art style, definitely up my alley. Little bit, I had some glitches. I don't know if it was a Steam Deck thing. I was playing on the Steam Deck, and there was like a few points where I would get hit by enemies, and then my character would kind of freeze, and like I actually had to like restart the game. So I don't know what was going on with that, but anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the full version of this at some point.
It actually looks pretty good. Looks decent. A good Metroid-like.
Mm-hmm. Frankie?
Just more Hades. It's all I've been playing whenever I have time. Hades, more Hades. Trying to do everything. Getting to a point where I'm starting to get a little frustrated and perhaps tired. Oh, that reminds me. Best news ever. Like, they keep flirting with this announcement for Returnal on PC. If that dropped tomorrow, surprise launch, I would be playing that all day. I'm looking for an excuse to play that. Also related to that, did they announce, like, I looked on Steam, they dropped Miles Morales is coming. It's available for wish listing now, and so is Sackboy, are both.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I'm surprised no one talked about it. Both of those got added to Steam, coming soon.
I don't know if like
Before Returnal.
Well, I think Miles Morales. I think they knew that was coming, or they
I
said
think when they. I don't know if it was on Steam yet, but they had said most likely that it was going to follow down the road from Spider-Man. Right. But yeah, Sackboy as well. Which that one's well, never mind. I take it back. I was going to say something dumb.
Well, but I don't think either of them have a release date yet, right? So it's I think Miles Morales is fall 2022 is all they've said, unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, but that's earlier than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, still loving Hades. Need to finish it. I'm just about ready to move on. But I guess briefly, I tried Moonscars just before the show because I'm debating buying it. And
I also tried it right before the show.
Okay, so I did download, because I do the Humble Choice, the monthly subscription. And if you do that, you get access to the Humble app where you can launch games. And it's basically like Game Pass for Humble, just smaller games.
This game is on Game Pass as well, though.
Oh, it is? Okay. And then also on so if you do Humble Choice, if you didn't know, there are like subscription games you can play. I just thought I'd try it on that, give it a quick pass for like, how does it feel? Does it feel good? Art style, polish level before I commit to buying it so I can play it on Steam. And I thought it felt pretty good. I kind of dug the controls, the mood. So I will pick it up officially and get some Steam achievements rather than nothing on the Humble app. But I thought it was pretty good. Huck, you might have played more than I did.
Probably not. I only played maybe 20 minutes or so. But I got a little turned off by like the lore of the game, and everything had these really like weird names.
Descriptions, yeah. So
which I'm like, I don't even know what this stuff means. I'm not going to remember any of this stuff. Like, it's not magic. It's like some weird name. It's not attack. It's like some weird name.
I was torn on that because I like that it's kind of a conscious effort to brand everything in their world.
Yeah.
So there is like an immersion aspect there, but I agree. I'm like, is this just mana or an equivalent? Like, we just say what it is. And
yeah, I did like the mechanics that I experienced, but I did also think that it was very Dead Cells feeling in its gameplay. But I did like the almost like Castlevania style art or vibes I was getting. Like I just kind of assumed there's going to be there's a lot of undead things you're fighting, it seems, and it seems like there's some sort of vampiric type vibe going on. It's kind of weird. It is trying to create its own lore. The opening intro movie thing is very like I'm writing my grand epic novel feel.
The intro I wasn't sold on, but once
I had to skip after a few.
Once I got into the gameplay, I liked it enough that I will pick it up. But it reminded me, I can't remember, I might have seen this on Sean's wish list, or you owned it already. Maybe you talked about it. Grime?
Oh yeah, I own it. I haven't played it.
It's a Metroid-like, and I tried the demo at one point, and that was another game where it's interesting. They were like reinventing combat, like it's you absorb damage rather than doing it, and like flipping, kind of the way this game was rebranding everything. Grime was doing that. It wasn't amazing, but like it looks really good. So I do want to try that game at one point, but I do find it interesting. It's a decision as an indie developer you have to make. Like, are we coming up with all our own names for everything? Do we think this game is, good enough that we want to? Because it's also a barrier to entry. Like Huck and I are saying, like how do you want to play it in terms of having people try your game and get noticed? If people really like it, I think it's a good thing that you're establishing all these cool ideas that are specific to your game, but it could keep people away.
Well, I don't know if you already said this, but I've heard it described as like a Metroidvania Souls-like. Does that seem accurate to you?
I haven't gotten to the Souls-like aspect yet because I'm still very early, but I've heard that as well.
I didn't die, or I just kind of got to a point where I shut it off. So
And
I got to like
I hear
the
it's really
workshop.
hard. I did not get to a part where it felt hard yet. So
Same.
Yeah, I mean it's on my radar, but yeah, the Souls-like thing, I was like, I don't know. There's a lot of these. I don't know if I need another one right now.
definitely, even though I didn't really play much of Blasphemous, but vibes similar to that.
Right, yeah.
And what's that other one we talked about? 9. That's coming out soon.
Yeah, nine something. 9 Dead Souls, something like that.
9 Years of Shadows.
That's it. Okay, yeah. I just wanted to mention another game I played a bit on Game Pass called Tinykin. And this is, I guess it's a little bit Pikmin-esque. You're like this guy, this little character that's going through you're tiny. You're going through a house and everything, like all the environments are like large around you.
It is definitely a Pikmin clone, it looks like.
And, it's interesting, like the reviews for this I've seen seem really positive. Like on Metacritic, I think the Xbox version is like 90%. Some of the other platforms are lower. So, it's always a bit of a weirdness
I would assume
with
the
that.
name
But
Tinykin is like it's kind of close to Pikmin.
yeah, that's true. And it is certainly you go around, you collect these little creatures, and then they can pick things up and move things for you and stuff like that. So it is similar, but I feel like for like Pikmin, there's a little more like of a puzzle aspect, whereas this one, it didn't seem to be like on the surface they're puzzles, but you really just throw these guys at things in the rooms and they move stuff for you. You don't really have to think about it.
Yeah, it seems, I'm looking at some of the level layouts. And when I say it's a Pikmin clone, I don't mean in terms of visuals. Like it looks vastly different from Pikmin. There's like these little creatures that you separate like Pikmin and do things. But it does seem like the level design I'm seeing is missing the strategy aspect of Pikmin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's more action based than strategy based.
But it's not even that. Like there's not a lot of action. It's more exploration. Which I do like. Like in a way, it reminded me of something like Super Mario Odyssey, where you're like going around these rooms, and every corner of the room there's some interesting thing to find. I like the look of it. Like the main character is kind of like 2D animated to the point where it's like you only ever see him as like the world is 3D, but you only ever see him as like a flat sprite, which makes it a little weird with some of the platforming stuff. Like it's hard to describe, but there is a weirdness with when the camera moves, like where it's rotating on is not always what you think. But like it kind of was just this cool, like chill out, explore, not stressful. I was enjoying it, just kind of going around these worlds and it was fun, like kind of addictive, but I don't know. I'm still kind of like 90%. Like I feel like I'm missing something here. So maybe I'm thinking a little bit like Frank. Yeah, it's kind of more of a casual kind of game. But like, yeah, I'm thinking coming at it like Frank a little bit. Like, what's the big deal with this? I don't get it. But
yeah, why are people saying this about this game?
Exactly. But it's on Game Pass, and I played a bit of it with the kids. They were kind of enjoying it. So it's kind of.
I mean, from what I'm seeing, like some of the camera perspectives, it's high level, and there's this weird blend of like photorealism with an art style in the environments with the contrast of the cartoon characters. Like it looks really cool.
Yeah, the art style is definitely something that pulls you in. So I don't know. It's definitely worth checking out.
Wishlisted.
Cool. Huck?
The last thing I played was just more Octopath Traveler. I still am enjoying it. It's getting a little challenging, actually, where I am now, and I don't know how to reach certain areas, so I have now completed the first chapter for all of the characters in the game. I feel silly. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I don't know how to switch my characters right now. The only way I've been able to switch my characters is when I recruit a new character. You have to put them into your party, so then you have to take someone out or swap. So I need to figure out how to do that. It's not in an inn. I don't know if it's at a tavern or something. There must be some way to do it. But that part, if there's no way to do it, I have a bit of an issue because I'm kind of like stuck with a certain team. And I kind of want to switch it up because in this game, each character has a particular weapon type. And so you want to make sure you have a balance of kind of all the weapon types. So when you reach certain enemies, you can expose their weaknesses. And right now I have some big gaps in my team as like how I can defeat guys. So I need to switch up my team. So that will be my next step.
Like I'm assuming with Final Fantasy games, you just do that at like a tent or a checkpoint or something like that.
You can normally just do it in the menu, or there's like your airship or something like that, but you don't really have anything like that yet. So there are towns. I haven't really explored this. I haven't Googled it. I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Let me web crawl that for you.
You should, yeah. You should.
I'm not saying Google anymore.
You should web crawl it. You should Bing it. Bing it for me, please.
He won't say Metroidvania. He won't say Google.
I wasn't gonna bring this up. Not that I didn't want to. When I looked up Tinykin, one of the headlines I saw was Tinykin review, a fun Pikmin-like, bursting with humorous surprises. So I like the like trend of games being called likes.
Yeah, there was another game that came out last year that was kind of a Pikmin-like. I can't remember what it was. It was on Game Pass. It was like, it's gonna drive me nuts. But it was kind of fun too. But I only played a little bit of it.
Stonefly? You had that on your wish list on Steam?
No.
I'm just looking at a list. Games like Pikmin. Masters of Anima?
Nope. I wish I could go through like a list of every single game I've played on Game Pass. It'd be an easy way. Oh, Wild at Heart. That was it.
Nice pull.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember playing it a little bit, and it definitely was.
Oh yeah, this is on the Humble app as well.
Oh yeah.
So that's it for me. That's all I played.
Oh, Huck, did you? There was something you mentioned last week that you said like you described it wrong or something. Did you want a correction on that?
Sure. Yeah. I realized after the fact that when I was describing Live Alive, I said it was basically just like Octopath Traveler in its combat, and it absolutely is not. It is completely different. It's much more of almost like a Fire Emblem strategy game. So you actually like move your characters in a grid, or a better comparison would actually be like South Park Fractured But Whole. So you basically have your guys on the right-hand side, the enemies are on the left. There's a grid, you move along the grid, and all of your moves that you have access to for each character also are reliant on this grid pattern, how many squares they affect, how far away they can interact with the enemies, that kind of stuff. And so you move your characters that way. So it is completely different than Octopath Traveler, and that was a big mess up. I don't know what I was thinking. I obviously was not thinking.
Playing a lot of Octopath.
I had. So yeah, completely different.
Playing VR earlier in the day. You were
I might have been. Yeah, I was totally at the spins. It's a little messed up.
That's all right. No big deal. Sean, did you play Trombone Hero?
No, Trombone Champ.
Trombone
Hero.
Champ? Sorry.
Would be copyright infringement, probably.
We're Hero? And we're in trouble.
Yeah, that's true. No, I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm planning to. Been hearing a lot of great things about it. If anybody out there has played it, let us know, because it sounds
Maybe
like fun.
that's the first Steam Deck game I play.
Yeah?
Trombone Champ. Feels about right.
Do it, man.
Put some headphones in and trombone out.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I don't know. Is the game actually good? Am I going down a goat simulator path? Because that does not.
Well, that's what I'm wondering about. Because a lot of people say the fun of the game is more that it's just really funny when you mess up, because a bad trombone sounds funny. But
I might be out.
I gotta check it out.
This seems like meta streaming crap.
See if it's on Stadia.
Not a bad idea. Although I canceled. You cannot resubscribe.
Oh no, disaster!
You can't
'Cause
resubscribe.
You could purchase and then get refunded.
You can no like I can't go back right now and opt in.
Oh,
for
but
that.
just because they're shutting down, you mean? I thought you meant like once you cancel Stadia, they're like, we don't want
never
you back.
again. You made your decision. You drew your line. You're against.
I kind of like that actually.
Might have worked. Better marketing. I think that's it. Anything else you guys have?
No.
No, I think that's it for this week.
All right, nice short show, exactly 1 hour as usual. You can check us out on youtube.com/gamejunk. Sean is Film Junk on Twitter. Huck is My Angry Commute and Equilibrium Sis. And maybe have some Steam Deck updates. Maybe I'll be snapping. There have been people on the Discord, which is on our YouTube. The link is on our YouTube channel as well. I can't. Is it Dylan? I can't remember that. I think it's Dylan. Where they had to send theirs back. They got it back a month later.
Oh, I think that was Dustin.
Dustin, sorry, yes. And now there was battery issues potentially when it was towards the end. So who knows? I'm expecting the worst, the absolute worst case scenario. Anything than that will be great. So maybe some big news this week. Any big game releases this week? I don't think so.
Is Scorn this week?
No, that's the 14th, I believe.
14th. Okay.
Yeah, it did move up though.
Yeah.
To get away from Gotham Knights.
Scorn, Gotham Knights coming up pretty soon.
Oh, Overwatch 2 this week.
Oh yeah, that's a big. I won't be playing it. I think I have to install the Blizzard app, which will not. I'm not hacking my Steam Deck. So.
I don't. Just one little tidbit
Free
on
to
that.
play, right? Overwatch 2 is free.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. I think when we talked about it before, we were like, "This should be free to play," and we didn't think it was, but
I did
apparently
notice
it
that
is.
after. So, which makes sense. They're competing with Valorant essentially.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.